Hello crafters and welcome to the Hobby Maker tutorial YouTube channel. Thanks for joining me. I'm James Hembrow and I'm going to share with you the next few techniques around our intro to stamping and inks. So let's have a look at a few techniques right away now, and I just want to show you some of the different techniques that you can use with StazOn. So what I've got here is actually a piece of craft foil that I've just laid down flat onto a piece of cardstock, and it's just a piece of metal that I'm going to lay flat down onto my craft sheet like so. So I'm going to place that one in the middle. Let's have a look at the black StazOn. I'm using a red rubber stamp. If you've watched other videos, you'll know why that's important when I'm using my solvent-based StazOn dye ink pad, because it's just going to be able to stand up to the solvents in this ink and it's not going to deteriorate or cause any problems whatsoever. Right, so I'm just going to go in normal stamping process, nothing different, actually just very, very light pressure, because this is going to sit on the surface. I don't have to let it work into the fibres of any cardstock or anything like that. Let it sit and transfer. I'm just going to show you, I'm going to go back in with another stamp of that. That's not bad, that's already on there. It looks absolutely striking, but I think I can go back in there with just a little bit more ink. Again, just make sure you ink your stamp up on a level platform. I'm just going to go back in there with a second stamp just to layer that up. I probably could have pushed down a little bit harder, but I'm just being delicate because with solvent inks, they sit on the surface, we've learnt that. It means it has a tendency to want to smudge and shift. Now I know we can't see this moving, it's not really moving at all, but as I push down, it is compressing, so there is a tendency to want to just smudge ever so slightly. So you're better off building your image up gradually with something like this, and I'm actually really happy with that. That's come out really nice. Now I'm going to clean that off very, very quickly. If I'm really quick with the cleaning process of solvent inks, then I can again just use something quite light, like my wet wipe, going quite heavy with it, and I can take the worst of it off, and then I can turn around and just clean that later using some solvent StazOn cleaner. But what we've actually done there is we've got a stamped image on a piece of craft foil. Now that means I can go in there with alcohol markers, I could go in there with alcohol inks, anything else that's going to work on a non-porous surface. Now because that's sat on the surface, it does need to dry. It will just take a few minutes to dry off, but that's just showing you what you can do with StazOn on craft foil. There's another one that I've done previously there, and that's been done a few hours ago, and I can turn around and just bring in one of our alcohol craft markers, and you'll see that that will work quite happily. Let's go into this petal here, and you can then add colour to the project. So now we've learnt that we can use the stamped image with the alcohol markers. Now you need to just be a little bit careful, because we also learnt that StazOn can be kind of re-energised, for want of a better word, and moved around by alcohol markers. But if you're quite quick and this is dry and it's set, then it's okay. We're just putting a very light amount of colour on there, and it's just to add and show you an example of how you can use those sorts of projects and how that would work. So I could do exactly that same technique, that bit of craft foil there as well.